iScrappers, Tom from the iScrap app. Today is Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021, and we'd like to welcome you to our weekly report. Every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m., we like to go live, giving people market news, scrap tips, advice, projections, and different things that we see that are going on in the market. As always, when we do our live reports Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, feel free to ask questions. Someone on our team will get you answers either during our podcast or after the podcast or the live videos, whatever we call these things, and we'll be able to get you that information to help you make more money with your scrap. Now, as always, we like to remind you about a couple of things. Number one, download the iScrap app to your iPhone or your Droid today. By downloading the app, you're going to learn about a few different things. You're going to have push notifications letting you know different market movements, up, down, or even just sideways. You're going to get notifications when we have new articles that are printed to give you an idea about how to make more money with your scrap. So all the different things that you can learn from these different push notifications that are free, by all means. Now, for those of you that are serious and really looking to learn more about scrap, the markets, and get more market tips and tricks, you can become a Patreon supporter today. For about 26 cents a day, you're going to get more market tips sent to you that we either are delayed in sending out to scrappers or just different things that we want to be able to provide people that are subscribing and becoming supporters of ours at iScrap. So without further ado, let's talk about some of the market news that we've seen over the last 7 days. Now, last Wednesday, we saw copper prices hitting almost 10-year highs with the trading level around $4.32 a pound. Thursday, though, markets dropped like 16 cents. Friday, markets dropped like 9 cents. So it was like, hip, hip, hooray, what just happened? We saw the market go up and down 20 cents, 25 cents in like a 2 or 3 day period of time. And these are the things that we've talked about for years that we do not like. Of course, we love seeing the market up. Of course, we love seeing copper reaching near record levels. Of course, we love you making more money for your hard work. What we don't like is unstable markets. These markets that go up and down and flip-flop all over the place, they give you a really big problem when you're trying to move metal as a scrapyard owner, trader, broker, to be able to provide the scrappers updated and efficient prices. Now, these prices that we have that go out there that we post every day through our reported prices, our national averages, these are heavily affected by large swings, and sometimes it takes a few extra days for those swings to really kick into effect. Take example, yesterday we saw the market jump like 11 cents. So as a scrapyard owner, I said to myself, boy, let me raise those prices, which we did. Down here at Rockaway Recycling, we paid $3.72 for Bear Bright. Now, today we woke up and the market was down 4 cents, and right now we currently have a market that's down about 7 cents per pound. So those increases that we had day over day were immediately erased, and this causes a lot of problems for multiple different reasons. As a scrapyard owner, you want stable markets. You want to be able to let your customers know that the market is $3 per pound, and it's going to be like that for a couple of days. But with big market swings, it makes it hard to have that stability at the door to be able to provide the scrappers really transparent and stable prices. Looks like we have a question.
Yep, we have a question from Dominic. He said, is the market being stable right now, or are prices going to shoot back down or back up in upcoming days or weeks?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Dominic. If I had that answer, I would be doing this, like I say, from my own private island. But I am not, so I'm coming to work every day. I think that right now we have a very flip-floppy type of a market. What does that mean? I think that we're not going to shoot down 50 cents a pound, but I think that we could fully expect the market to be moving between 5 and 15 cents per pound every single day for at least the next couple of weeks. Now, with the market where it is right now, we've seen a couple of different things. We've seen large market demands. We've seen copper inventories going down, and they've been down multiple months in a row. We've seen the Chinese continuing to buy massive amounts of material and lifting their own restrictions, buying both good and low-yielding copper, which will also affect the market in multiple different ways, with China accounting for about 55% of the world's copper consumption. That's a crazy number. One country, over half of the material, so it gives them a really big upper hand on what the prices are going to be, how they're going to be looked at, and where we're going to look at them moving forward. Another thing we have going on right now, we have the stimulus, a $1.9 trillion stimulus that was approved in the House, sent to the Senate, being worked on, manipulated a little bit. Things will be put in, things will be taken out, be back to the House, and then it'll go to President Biden's approval. Once you spend $1.9 trillion, hold on, let me rephrase that. Once you create $1.9 trillion to inject it into the economy, whether it's for COVID, or transportation, or any type of maintenance. We talk about all the different roads and bridges, which has nothing to do with this. But when you put that much money into the overall world economy, you're going to have prices swinging in ways that we can't yet see. Last year we had $3 trillion created. It sounds like super monopoly money. And to add another $2 trillion on top of that, and they're already talking about another stimulus bill, that is going to affect the market in so many different ways that we can't even begin to see, expect, or predict where it's going to go in the next few months. But I will tell you this, I do have a side bet with a friend of mine that the copper market will hit $5 per pound by the end of 2021. So if you want to guess where my expectations are headed, I fully expect the market to stay strong, as all of the articles that I've been reading recently are talking about the commodity super cycle that's going on in the US, Canada, Mexico, and the world. The commodity super cycle that's going on right now has a massive demand for different commodities, with iron ore at record highs, copper approaching record highs. Then we haven't even talked about catalytic converters yet, but we have rhodium at record highs. We have aluminum climbing to 2.5-year highs. We have the nickel market doubling in the last year. Pre-COVID levels, it's doubled. So you have a massive swing right now that hasn't happened like this in the past, and we're watching these super cycle market commodities right now very closely to see where they're going. But with iron ore prices up, that's going to pull your steel prices up. With gasoline and oil prices up, that's also going to affect your prices. So it might cost you more at the pump, but you might be able to sell for more at the scrapyard. It looks like we have another question.
Actually, going right off of what you just said,
great.
Jason asked, how do you see fuel prices affecting, rising fuel prices affecting scrap prices?
Yeah.
And we just had another question come in from Marlon.
Okay.
What factors are going to cause copper to hit $5 this year?
Sure, so I'm going to attack the fuel prices first. With gas prices up over 45 cents per gallon since President Biden took office, we fully expect these prices to go up another 30 to 50 cents per gallon within the next few months, most likely just going off of some of the OPEC meetings before Memorial Day. So you can fully expect a market that was around $2.25 to be creeping towards $3 or more per gallon for gasoline very, very soon, as we've seen the prices jump every single week. Now, most of the time when you hear prices jumping, you're going to think, oh my goodness, this is the most horrible thing in the world. I'm going to pay $100 to fill my truck up. Well, you might. But if you're a scrapper, you're probably, we're not doing scrap booking here, we're doing scrap metal. And if the gas prices means that copper is going to go up, if the gas prices mean that steel is going to go up and all the other metals that we work with, you'll probably be able to make up for it because you're going to be cashing in for so much more. Don't forget about that. Everyone wants to win on both sides. You can't have cheap gas prices and expensive commodity prices. It doesn't work that way because commodities need to be moved. How are they moved? By trucks, by trains, by rail, right? Overseas containers. What do all those things use? They don't use wind, they don't use solar, they use diesel, they use oil, they use gasoline. When these things become more expensive, transporting the different commodities becomes more expensive. So you're going to have an uptick in trucking. You're going to need to cover that somewhere because scrapyards, traders, brokers still need to be able to make their base margin. So maybe their margin extends a little bit to protect them against the extreme volatility that we're seeing right now. But overall, it's going to be a very crazy and tumultuous period of time over the next few months and possible 2 to 3 years that they're talking about this super cycle going. This super cycle, if it does go and it does hit $5 per pound, the different factors are some of the things that I just talked about. Multiple $1 trillion pushed into the economy with more to come. A big manufacturing push with people being pent up at home for so long. There's going to be buying new items. Cars are going to be a really big commodity. You've already heard that chip manufacturers that make the little chips that go into new cars are having such a hard time keeping up because the massive work from home push made people making more laptops, more tablets. Less chip makers were able to provide those to automakers, so cars have been pushed behind in production delays. So that's going to affect things as well. So the $5 copper could really be pushed by a lack of manufacturing production because of COVID restraints, COVID delays. We have different quality control problems. We have supply chains that have been disrupted. We have expensive fuel costs. That list goes on. And of course, if you were a Patreon subscriber for 26 cents a day, you would have known some of those facts that we've been sharing over the last few weeks. Now let's talk about another market, catalytic converters. Of course, we always have people asking questions. We have one now, so we'd like to answer that before we jump into cats.
So Vincent asked, how has the ammo shortage affected the scrap price?
Little to none. The ammo, when you hear shortages, you should really hear about large amounts of shortages that are going to affect a lot of different industries. The brass shortage that we're seeing for ammunition has definitely contributed to some of the prices going up, but really the supply chains being broken right now and severely delayed has contributed much more to the different prices being affected for brass shells and other things like lead shot that go into the different bullets. Now, catalytic converter prices are always brought to us by rrcats.com. And full disclosure, it's one of our sister companies. We want to be able to buy your catalytic converters. And one of the most important things that we like to share with our customers and our viewers through iScrap is how consistent the team at rrcats.com is in buying all of the different cats. We give you a price, we hold it for 7 business days. That's a long period of time compared to the scruffy guy in a white van, unmarked, buying your cats, pulling cash out of his pocket. Sure, it's great to get that cash, but if you're looking for reliability, transparency, and in my opinion, stability, the team at rrcats.com is going to provide that to you, quoting people on their cats based off of serial numbers and photos. Now, there are 3 base metals that we always talk about in the catalytic converter world. 1 is rhodium, 2 is platinum, 3 is palladium. Number 1, rhodium is at all-time record highs. The prices have climbed every single day for the last 6 days, now trading over $27,500 per ounce, leading catalytic converter prices to be at all-time record highs for your average price per cat, ranging between $195 and $252, depending on where you are in the country, what type of mix you have, and how many aftermarkets are in there. But it looks like we have a question before I keep going.
We have a question from Jason. What's in O2 sensors and are they worth scrapping?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the question, Jason. O2 sensors are the little sensors that are going in to make sure that enough oxygen is being filtered through these catalytic converters. Now, the O2 sensors have a very small amount of precious metals in them. Generally, that metal is platinum, and you should take those O2 sensors off if you're getting a lot of cats to be able to try to sell them separately on different prices, generally on a per pound basis. So those O2 sensors have platinum in them, and to go back to what we were talking about, one of the 3 precious metals, platinum prices are down, but those rhodium prices really have pulled those catalytic converters up. So the prices, while palladium and platinum are down about 3 to 5% week over week, the overall value of catalytic converters have not gone down because of the large increase in the rhodium markets, brought to you by rrcats.com. Other markets, steel and iron up $20 per ton over the last 7 days. With oil and gas prices continuing to increase, we fully expect these prices to go up another $20 to $40 per ton this month or early in April. Tom, how do you know when the markets are go up? How can you tell us these things? Where is your crystal ball? Well, I told you before, my crystal ball was broken and scrapped, but one thing I do is read articles, listen to producers and manufacturers just to find out what they're looking at, where they see demands at. And across the Midwest right now, we see a large demand for steel and a large shortage, which is going to really lead to those higher prices. On top of that, we have seen outside countries, India for instance, opening up a lot of their COVID restrictions, getting their economies back up and running, and buying more scrap from overseas. Both India and Turkey have had big shipments and big orders gone into the US, and I've talked to many friends that work at ports, and they're starting to see these barges come in to get filled with steel, exported overseas, and another one coming in. And this is part of the reason we follow the different supply chains. It's not just for new manufacturing, it's for the steel that goes out there. Many people, you want to see where this steel comes from through India or Turkey? Look at some of the grates in your street, the manhole covers, the grates for the drains. They'll say on them, they'll be stamped made in India. Large cast iron manufacturers for a lot of these products that we use here in the States. We have another question.
We have one comment from Donald, and he said rhodium is going to the moon. And we have a question from Ryan. How are aluminum prices doing? Any increases?
Hey, thank you for leading me into my next segment. Aluminum prices have been at 2.5-year highs. We've seen sheet aluminum prices jumping from like 32 to 35 cents up towards 40, 42 cents for sheet. Bare 60, 63 prices at scrapyards. We've seen between 62 and 77 cents per pound. Different aluminum items like clean aluminum wire and aluminum litho have also been very strong, with rims creeping up there, averaging in the 55 to 75 cent range. There are higher prices generally for larger orders, cleaner material, very clean stuff like bare 60, 63, bare 60, 61, aluminum clips. Those markets have ticked up, but your basic sheet aluminum prices, your pots, pans, your old chairs and things like that, which will be 90% of the aluminum that you move, prices have been up over the last few weeks. Now, scrappers, don't forget, every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we like to do our Facebook Live. We always take this video, save it, and post it onto YouTube. So if you're not able, because you're working or, have a life in the middle of the day, to watch our video, you can always tune in or subscribe to our newsletter. Not only do we post a video on there, but we also send a lot of the different tips and tricks that we have throughout the week and a little more information, as well as a slew of reported prices. Don't forget, every Sunday on YouTube, we have our reported prices listed on there from you, the scrapper, who have reported it for free on what you've been paid. And don't worry, in the coming months, we have some awesome product changes that are going to help you report your prices easier, share them, and learn about other people's prices to help you make more money with your scrap. Scrappers, today is Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. We thank you for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next week. Scrap safe, scrap often. Until next week, I'll scrap you later.